Hi guys, I'm Adam Wilborn from WhatCulture.
And I'm Andy Murray from WhatCulture. And coming up today, we have all the fallout and all the big events from AEW Dynamite Episode 2.
And we also have all the fallout from NXT, where a new Cruiserweight champion was crowned.
And we have an exclusive story, it's not exclusive at all, don't know why I said that word, about the shocking wrestler who almost became the leader of the Clique.
This is the news, but we might as well start by zooming in straight on me yet again. Because WWE are back on their bull. I'm going to be good. I'm going to be good today, Andy.
Can't swear 3 videos in a row.
No, I'll try not to. Yes, so Hell in a Cell's conclusion has been widely criticised, let's just say, by myself and literally every other wrestling fan in the world who isn't paid by WWE, and even some who are, like X-Pac. But anyway, WWE, instead of just holding their hands up and being like, you know what, guys, we admit it, we screwed up. We shouldn't have done a no contest finish 2 years in a row inside Hell in a Cell. No, instead, on their YouTube show, The Bump.
What the hell is The Bump?
I don't know. They had a statement by the referee of that Hell in a Cell match, Rod Zapata. Now, I'd like to clarify this by saying this is clearly not Rod's opinion. They've just shoved their hand up his arse and made him their puppet once again. Because Rod, WWE, has basically said, clarifying the reason why that match was called a no contest. He said, with Bray motionless and Seth clearly doing whatever it was going to take to win that match, I had to think of the competitor's safety, and at that moment, I did what I thought was best. What a load of bollocks that is! Right, okay, Hell in a Cell. Let's look at the history of Hell in a Cell, shall we? Mankind nearly died. He got thrown off the top of the cell, he went through a table, and then he came back and got chucked through the cell. At no point in that match did the referee think, probably should call this one off. Yes, granted, he was going to be taken back to be medically assessed to, I don't know, see if he was still living or something, but the match was never stopped, was it? And if, like WWE are probably going to, you want to make the argument of, well, they want to protect the wrestlers more nowadays. First of all, that's terrible that they had to make that statement nowadays. They should have been doing that all the way along. But let's look at the more recent history of Hell in a Cell, where Triple H has done some horrendous things with sledgehammers in there anyway. And literally in last year's Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, you had Jeff Hardy falling from the top of the cell through a table, which granted isn't as bad as getting your head caved in, but the referee told them to lift the cage, told them to get medical personnel in there to take Jeff Hardy out, and Randy Orton said, nah, to hell with that, do your job, count the pin. This is something I really didn't need this week.
This is absolutely pathetic, isn't it? It's just a really paper-thin way to cover up for what is one of the worst booking decisions, one of the worst match finishes of the entire year. And it speaks kind of volumes that WWE kind of buried this on, The Bump. I apologize to regular viewers of The Bump. But what the hell? Why are they like this? Why are WWE like this? Why do they always double down on their own crap? It's really frustrating. It is a farce. It's a farce. There's no other word for it, is there? Shall we just get the hell out of here?
Please, let's talk about some good stuff.
Yeah, let's get away from the zoom in content and zoom back out. Talk a little bit about AEW Dynamite. Another big episode last night, bookended by some really great stuff. There was a hot promo, there was a hot angle, there was all kinds of things. The biggest news stories, bit by bit. We're going to run through these.
Sorry, I've just got that mental image of Darby Allin skateboarding down the ring in my head.
In the main event angle, Darby Allin skateboarding down the ramp and then kicking Jericho straight off the thing. Really tremendous stuff. Yeah. Moment of the night. If you ask me, it was so much fun. But in the opening match, the first night of the match of the evening, we had AEW continuing their theme of starting Dynamite hot with a banger of a contest between Private Party and the Young Bucks in the first round of the tag team tournament. Big surprise as the Private Party defeat the Young Bucks. The closing spot saw Isaiah Cassidy kind of sweep Nick Jackson off the ropes. off the apron as he was going to do the Meltzer driver springboard over into the ring, and that allowed Mark Quinn to kind of roll Matt Jackson up, score the victory. Very opportunistic, very well executed. A great match with some really good story stuff as well. After Matt Jackson spent the whole of 2018 selling his back, he proved that he has learned something from that and destroyed Cassidy's back throughout the match. Excellent stuff. And now they move on, Proud Party move on, and will face the winners of Lucha Brothers and Jurassic Express in the next round. We also had several other developments. We had Chris Jericho cut one of the bloody promos of the year with his new gang of lads. They are called the Inner Circle. The t-shirt is already on Pro Wrestling Tees because these guys know what the hell they're doing. Really great promo. My favourite bit.
Hamlet told me that when they announced that the t-shirt was on sale on Pro Wrestling Tees, it crashed the website.
Oh, wow. Stuff's going viral. I almost swore there. My favourite bit was the We the People chants. Chris Jericho comes out and just totally hoses all over them. Great stuff, product of bad creative, and now it's dead and buried, or whatever he said. Really good stuff. And of course, another big story, Chris Jericho next face. I'm all over the place today because I've been up since 4 o'clock. Next week, Chris Jericho will face Darby Allin with the AEW World Championship on the line. This came after Darby pinned Jimmy Havoc in, I think it was the second match of the night. My brain's a little fried. But Darby came off really well. He got a massive pop when he interfered in that awesome show closing angle. We also got another tease of the big MJF Cody heel turn, which was extremely well done. He's getting ready to wallop someone with a chair. We've got the Inner Circle holding Cody's limp body up, and then he does the right thing, doesn't he? He cracks all the boys, gets a massive pop. Wrestling's great, man.
Yeah, AEW was absolutely fantastic tonight. Myself and the Dadley Boys are going to be reviewing it on the Wednesday Night War review later on, which you can download as a podcast, as well as this news by searching for WhatCulture Wrestling on either iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast from. Let's transition over to NXT, though, because they also had a really, really good show last night. One of the biggest storylines coming out of it, Lio Rush is your new Cruiserweight champion, with a little homage to Eddie Guerrero as part of the finish as well, which I thought was lovely.
Yesterday.
Yes, he pinned, in 52 he would have been, wouldn't he, I think? Something like
Something
that.
like that, yeah.
He pinned Drew Gulak to win that Cruiserweight Championship, and Drew Gulak, post-match, as William Regal was about to put the belt around Rush, shoved Regal out of the way. Regal's not been having a good week of it, really, has he?
He really
Gulak gave the title to Rush, shook his hand, all's fair in love and war. Lio Rush is your new Cruiserweight champion. Lovely reaction for that as well. We also had the announcement of Tommaso Ciampa's in-ring return. He came down, he cut a lovely little promo where he said, "Goldie, Daddy's home," which got an amazing pop. And he attacked Angel Garza?
Angel Garza.
I was never 100% sure.
Tai Chi gimmick with the trousers. He's really sexy as well.
He was confronted by Garza backstage, who spoke another language to him, and he just chinned him, and then I think it was Kathy Kelly said, "What did he say to you?" And he said, "I don't know." But he's going to face him in a match next week. Loads more matches confirmed as well. There is going to be an NXT North American title match going on in 2 weeks' time. Roderick Strong defending against the Velveteen Dream. And it was confirmed that next week we are going to get Pete Dunne versus Damian Priest, and Keith Lee versus Dominik Dijakovic in the rubber match between those two. Also, we are no further along into finding out who Shayna Baszler's next opponent was going to be. It looked like it was going to be Rhea Ripley. She won her match and said, "I should be the next in line." But then Bianca Belair won her match and said, "No, I should be the next in line." And there was a fantastic promo as well, promo package, I should say, for Tegan Nox. So who knows who's going to face Shayna Baszler. But all in all, the Wednesday Night War, yet again, was bloody brilliant.
Very much up to this point, the Wednesday Night War has done what we all hoped it would do and yielded a bunch of quality wrestling across both shows. We're really spoiled at the moment. The only shame is that it's not possible to watch both at once with full attention on each.
Well, the only shame is main roster WWE as well.
Yeah, that's a good pal. Maybe SmackDown will be good, who knows?
Better be.
Yeah.
It better be for my mental well-being.
Let's wrap things up with a nice slice of banter from one of wrestling's, well, a couple of wrestling's foremost banter merchants. We're going to talk a little bit about the Kliq. Now, Bret Hart, he's been doing a series of talks with Inside the Ropes, and he revealed during a recent one that he was once asked to be the leader of the Kliq, the notorious backstage on-screen group of guys doing politics, messing everything up, being really cool, being really great as well. Like, it was a weird situation. It was a weird time.
Pissing everyone off with the curtain call.
But also just, being the best guys ever. So that came out. Somebody tweeted about it here, and Kevin Nash chimed in true Kevin Nash fashion with this little belter. He said, Effing news to me, I was the only one he got along with. He being Bret Hart. So that's probably the most Kevin Nash thing I've heard all year. But Sean Waltman came in just shortly afterwards and said, Bret is referring to a conversation Scott and I had with him at the Curtain during a show on a European tour. Not sure if you and Sean ever knew about it. So not only do we get confirmation that the story's correct, but we also get Kevin Nash being an absolute ledge.
So Bret Hart was nearly the leader of the Kliq.
Yeah, which is interesting considering him and Sean.
That would have been, yeah.
Yeah.
Make of that what you will.
Change the very complexion of wrestling history, that might have.
Indeed. Let's move on to your Twitter questions, though. Don't forget you can get in touch with us at WhatCulture WWE. First question today comes from Jim Shepherd, who says that now that Lio Rush is Cruiserweight Champion, do you think he'll defend it against the NXT roster, or will he be forced to defend against the same 5 wrestlers from 205 Live?
Yeah, that 205 Live roster is tiny. I think on the Wikipedia page it has something like 10 people on it. It's ridiculous. I think he'll defend against both. It's called the NXT Cruiserweight Championship now, isn't it? So I think he'll be across both shows. I think he'll be awesome. I'll let him wrestle with only the best guys on 205 Live. And also have some fresh new matchups on NXT. I think it's going to be great. I think he's going to be crossing the lines.
I think this is going to rehabilitate that Cruiserweight division. Before I say that, I've already said it, so I can't really do that. I'll go back in time. Not yet, anyway. But if we would have, I would have been able to do it already. Anyway.
What?
What I want to say is Drew Gulak has been a phenomenal Cruiserweight champion. Not only does this free him up to have some great matches on NXT, we saw what happened when he faced the likes of Matt Riddle in the past, of course.
And Boogs.
And yeah, we're going to have just more banging Cruiserweight championship matches, banging Cruiserweight matches. I think Lio Rush is the right guy to have the championship. Congratulations to him, and well done on a good decision for once from WWE. Everyone's favourite Misfit gives us our second question of the day, who says, do you think AEW should introduce an internet title for their mid-card? Also, should it be exclusive to AEW Dark?
Oh, that's a pretty cool little idea, and it would give extra incentive to watch Dark as well. By the way, next week's Dark has bloody Kenny Omega versus Joey Janela on it. That's going to be ridiculous. What a time to be alive. I do think it's still a little bit too early to establish a mid-card belt. I think that's something they should probably look at doing if they're going to do it in 2020. Let the roster settle for a few months. Let people find their place. Don't tell people straight away that this is a mid-card belt and these guys who are fighting for it are lesser wrestlers and all that stuff. Let the tiers naturally find their own way, then bring it in. And I personally would go with either the internet title, as you just described there, which I think is very, very good, or a TV title, old school, defended every week, work rate matches, cool.
Ben Wilson gives us our final question of the day, who says, who would you like to see get a shot at or win the AEW World title? Personally, I say Dustin Rhodes. The natural holding the belt would give it credibility, and nobody deserves a world title more.
Yeah, I love Dustin Rhodes. He's phenomenal. The Cody match is one of my favourite matches of the year. I thought he was great last night in that tag. I think he's one of the most underrated wrestlers of all time. I would love to see him get a shot at the belt. I'm not too sure about holding it. Not because, I think he doesn't deserve it. I think he's one of the hardest working guys in the business, that he's still able to go at such a level at his age with all that wear and tear. And double knee surgery last year is phenomenal, but I don't know if he's as big a marquee name. I think you genuinely want to keep that belt to your top 4 or 5 guys. And with all due respect to Dustin Rhodes as a performer, I've just said I think he's brilliant. I don't know if he's one of the 5 biggest names.
Yeah, I mean, this is part of the reason because AEW is such a brand new entity that we haven't seen any of these matchups properly yet. But when I saw this question, I genuinely thought, is there anyone on the AEW roster I don't want to see have a shot at that world title? And I can't think of anyone. Like you say, I think Chris Jericho should probably hold it for a good few months now. I don't think Cody should win it at Full Gear. I think there's loads more storylines. You can build people up to face him and what have you. But, I mean, anyone. Luchasaurus would be amazing. Chris Jericho sort of going, what? I've got to face a wrestling dinosaur?
What do I do with this? Yeah, that'd be great.
MJF challenging for it. You take your pick. Sammy Guevara. That awkwardness of that within the inner circle, the infight in there. Pac. Can you imagine Pac?
Moxley, Scorpio Sky. There's so many guys. So many. The Butler.
Orange Cassidy.
What about the Butler? Brandon Cutler?
Yeah. Anyone?
Orange Cassidy. Imagine how stupid that match would be.
Lifting the belt up like this.
Slowly. You just gab the ass.
Right, let's move on to today's and finally, and this has already popped the WhatCulture office this morning, except for you, because I've kept it away from you. This is a tweet that I want to share with you from Marina Shafir. Now, Marina Shafir is, of course, the other half of Roderick Strong, a very gorgeous man. And last night during NXT, she decided to share a little lovely moment between the two of them. Here is a picture of her and Roderick Strong at Disneyland. She shares this saying, "Me in a wheelchair after our wedding night."
Oh my God. Wow. Okay.
The replies to this are absolutely spectacular.
Oh, Jesus. All right. Okay. Cool.
Congratulations to Roderick and Marina.
Sounds like they had a good wedding night.
Just made me really tickle me this morning.
Oh, God. Well, okay. Glad they're living their lives now.
He's not called Roderick Strong for nothing.
Stronghold.
Indeed. Let us know your thoughts on that and all of today's news stories in the comments section below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling on either iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast from for daily wrestling podcasts. Plus, you can send us Twitter questions at WhatCulture WWE. Watch there, follow both of us. You can follow him at
Roderick Strong, the Messiah of the Crack Breaker. No, Andy H. Murray on Twitter. The H stands for Horace Hogan. Shut up, you pubes.
Follow me at Adam Wilborn. As I said, follow us all at WhatCulture WWE. My thanks to Andy Murray. Thank you for watching, and we will see you soon.